So welcome back, everyone. We are live on Facebook, so hi to everybody out there. My next guest has also never been on with me before. I have with me Patrick Brady, and he's the owner of Trauma Cleanup Solutions. Welcome to the show. I want you first to tell everybody a little bit about what you do and what is considered a biohazard cleanup.
Well, thanks for having me today. And so basically, we are cleaning up anything that comes out of the body. And that can be vomit, blood, urine, feces.
I'm going to have you get right up on that mic. Go
And-
ahead. Say that again. Vomit, blood, feces, go on.
Yes, and anything that's coming out of the human body is considered a biohazard
Wow.
and should not be really touched by anyone. I mean, people talk about diapers and kids, but that's someone you know.
Right.
And so somebody that doesn't know, those potentially can have quite a bit of hazards that you just don't know about.
Well, first of all, I got to ask you, it's not like the normal thing, right? But it happens a lot. And this is what I think people don't realize is when you have a loved one that lives here, and we're just going to talk about that for a real second,
Okay.
is that, when this happens, it could happen to anyone where there happened to be, tell a story really quickly about something like that.
We have there's just every job is not the same. It could be someone that just fell and lost their balance and kind of conked their head in the kitchen, bled out, survived, but that is still a biohazard scene.
Mm-hmm.
So we get called to come in and remediate all of that. It could be removing carpet, it could be cleaning tile, and then we usually do like a fogging just to sanitize and clean the entire residence.
So I want to make it very clear. This is not where you're doing a tile cleanup for the holidays.
Absolutely not.
I just have to
We are
say,
going deeper than that. We're going after any type of infectious disease, bloodborne pathogens that could be harmful to anyone that's close by.
so what is the first thing that someone should do if they think that they need a biohazard cleanup?
Well, they can call us, and typically we have a pretty good list of questions that we'll ask. One of the biggest questions we get is how much does this cost? And so if it's a home, apartment, condo, mobile home, typically homeowners insurance policies will pay us to come in and do a complete biohazard remediation.
I had no idea.
And that's really important because if there's carpeting that has to be removed, the insurance company will pay to replace that. If there's furniture that needs to be removed, a mattress that needs to be removed, the insurance again will be under that insurance umbrella for coverage.
Isn't that interesting? And where else but on Networking Arizona would you ever hear about something like this? And that's what I love about my show. But here's the thing that I think. There's a lot of folks out there that don't live close to their loved ones.
Correct.
And how often, and I'm just going to go off of the script right now, today is that kind of day. I just want to ask you how often that happens where, someone doesn't live necessarily close to this loved one and they're found deceased or something has happened to them and now they need this biohazard cleanup.
Good question. Happens a lot. We get a lot of calls from, different parts of the country where, an uncle, a mom or dad or sister passed away in a home. Nobody knew about it for days. A lot of times it's weeks. So the first thing we do is, hey, I'll go out, it's a no obligation visit, and do an assessment. And so I go out, somehow get into the residence, and I can do a complete assessment, and then we start the ball rolling, contacting insurance, scheduling for cleanup, and then I get with an adjuster, and we go through the whole process of making sure that this is gonna be covered. And a lot of times we can have it done before a loved one comes to the home. The biohazard scene has been
It's cleaned up.
remediated.
Now you're called in after the body has been, or as somebody's been removed?
Correct.
Okay, just want to make sure. Now, first of all, this is information that you need to know. First of all, he's is residential and commercial, licensed, bonded, and insured. He's also has a license with what's called an ROC. And you can tell him what that is. But here's what is important. He is statewide. He does do free estimates. And what I want people to understand is this is something, especially if you have somebody that lives alone and you're not always there, or you're not always calling, or you don't live in this state but they do. Put this number in your phone, because you never know. I'm serious. You just never know. And you said it happens quite a lot. So his phone number is 602-926-7252. His website is traumacleanaz.com. Now, let's just talk really quick about your licensed, bonded, and insured. You're also this ROC. What is that?
So the license is actually through ADEQ, Arizona Department of Environmental Quality, which is a requirement. We also have a license with Maricopa County to transport medical waste. The ROC is a Register of Contractors, where we have a demolition license, and that gives us more ability to remove. Sometimes we're removing flooring from second floors, wood floor. We are removing carpet. We could be removing sheetrock. So there's a lot of parts of the
Sometimes
home.
it's not a good scene.
That's correct. It can be everywhere.
But I do want to also mention this too. People do not realize that they have to do this. That they're the ones, the people that own the home, that have to do the cleanup. And it isn't something that you should do on your own.
Absolutely not. Trying to tackle this as a do-it-yourself with Lysol and Clorox really will worsen the entire scene. That's why it's important that we focus on getting insurance information, because it can be done professionally. And especially if there's a decomp, we're doing a lot more work in the home because of the decomposition process.
Now, what happens as a homeowner? Do they contact the insurance company and to open the claim, or how does that work?
Yeah, so when I get a phone call, say from somebody out of town, and they tell me what happened, the first thing I do is ask them if they can find insurance information. And a lot of times when we go to do an assessment, we will look for that insurance policy in the home for them when I go there. And so I can give them the company insurance information, and they can open the claim.
So let's say somebody has to do some flooring removing and all that kind of stuff. How does that get replaced?
So again, that's part of the insurance. They call it the putback. So if we take out carpeting and pad, and we're treating the concrete below, sealing the floor and whatnot, the part of the claim is they will put in some extra money for replacement. Sometimes it's replacing a whole room of carpet and pad and that.
Unfortunately, folks, things happen, and even if you do live here, maybe you're not really close, to that loved one, and God forbid something happens. I'm telling you now, obviously things happen, and sometimes it happens bad. And sometimes it happens where they've been there for a long time, and that's even worse. There's things about this that's what I think is so important, that people need to hear, that you are responsible for certain things and you may not even realize it. So his phone number to call, and I would say anybody that has a loved one living alone, please put the number in your phone. God forbid it happens, I hope it doesn't, but God forbid, at least you have some place to call. He's licensed, bonded, and insured. He also has an ROC. He does do residential and commercial. His phone number to call is 602-926-7252. He's statewide, and he does do free estimates. I know this sounds a little bit strange, but check him out on the website. It is traumacleanaz.com. And I hope it never has to happen to anybody. But if it does, now you got a number.
Thanks for having me.